Welcome back to Inside Eastern Utah. We are here now with Karl, who is the chairman of the BEAR Executive Board.
Yes.
And he is going to tell us a little bit about the BEAR program and what, let's start with the history of BEAR, what it is. What does BEAR stand for?
BEAR
first?
stands for Business Expansion and Retention.
Okay.
And our group is Castle Country BEAR, which is Carbon and Emery County. It's a
Okay.
2-county project. And we're dedicated to the creation and or retention and expansion of existing businesses in Castle Country. We've been doing this now for 12 years.
Wow.
The credit for us being here actually goes to Nick Tatton. Some 12 years ago, Nick went to a workshop that featured BEAR programs from across the country and a particular database that fascinated him. So he brought it back, the concept, and sold it to an existing group that was the advisory board for Sousbiff. And lo and behold, BEAR was born.
Awesome.
That Nick Tatton, man, he
I know.
is a busy guy,
Yeah,
and
he
he has a lot of gung-ho behind him. He's always trying to look for ways to improve this community.
He is. Nick is a real asset to the community.
I agree.
The organization started off kind of on a wing and a prayer. We had a grant from Price City. We had the College of Eastern Utah donating. Back then, Utah Power and Light. And we operated on a volunteer basis and hired staff. And staff worked on commission. And the role of staff was to interview, have one-to-one contact with existing businesses, just to determine what the business needs were, where things were going, what kind of help they needed. And then referrals were made out into the community to provide that help to the businesses. Our first major effort was when Helper was surveyed front to rear. It was concluded that the town needed, or the business people in town needed marketing training. So the College of Eastern Utah, along with the Small Business Investment Group, put together a training program, and lo and behold, we trained most of the businesses in Helper on marketing.
Great.
Yeah, that's a great thing for businesses to have, just a great asset and something to draw from and to improve.
So it's really all-inclusive, what you
It is.
guys are looking at. Every need a business could have.
Every
from
need a
all
business
aspects.
has. If there's potholes in front of the business and it's hurting them, we refer that to the appropriate city. It's just any need a business has, and if a business is expanding, then we make them aware of grant opportunities, tax credits, the various things like that. The program grew. Staff was, operating on a wing and a prayer. DeLynn Fielding, the Carbon County Economic Development Director at the time, was kind of heading the thing up and ended up getting some Vista volunteers to be staff, and we ran with Vista people for a while.
Nice.
And eventually, Mike McCandless and DeLynn Fielding were instrumental in getting legislation passed that spread BEAR across the entire rural community in Utah. So there are some 26 operating BEAR programs in the various counties, but that's thanks to the efforts of those two guys in getting legislation passed. And they also passed legislation for fast-track grants, which are matching grants. It's a brick and mortar thing for businesses expanding. And over our 12 years of operation, we have probably pumped $4 million worth of grant money into the community through GoEd.
You know, a lot of
pretty
business
cool.
owners might not realize how much assistance could be out there between grants and these various programs that can help them. They go into their business thinking they have to invest just their money and they have to make it work with what they have, and don't really reach out to these various programs and grants.
That's true. And a big part of what we do is educational. We make them aware of grant programs. We make them aware of the revolving loan funds operating in the community. It just brings access to the businesses to resources they might not know they had. Key partners, USU Eastern through their Small Business Development Center. The college has been a major participant and supporter. In fact, we base out of the college. And when DeLynn Fielding took a job up north, we were left leaderless. And somehow I got selected to fill the vacuum, and I've been doing this now for about 5 years.
Yep, you went in and haven't left. You're doing too good of a job, I guess.
Right.
It's something I enjoy. I believe that every business person in the community should give back. We derive an income from the community, and then we need to give back to it. So public service has been part of who I am for forever. I think I was part of one of the not the first economic development groups, but I've been in economic development for about 42 years.
Yes, well, you've been involved in business in this area for a long time.
I was just going to
so-
say, as a business owner, I'm sure you can appreciate some of the voids that Bear fills for people starting up, or I guess they're existing businesses. You're not
Yeah, if
helping
they're
startups, so-
expanding or,
Right. Our mission, we want to preserve what we have,
Right.
which is retention of business, and we actually have saved some businesses that have been in trouble.
Oh, great.
Other major goal is expansion of existing businesses, and then the creation of businesses from within. We have a lot of entrepreneurs in the community who are willing to try, and our role is to help them get going and keep them going. The Small Business Development Center, Ryan Murray, who is a genius at what he does, has done an excellent job with people who are doing startups or
Yes.
trying to save their business.
yes. It's really a fantastic resource for the community. You guys provide, of course, a lot of one-on-one help, but you also have meetings every other week. They're an hour long, and people can come and just learn about things that'll help their business, or learn about businesses in the area that are successful.
And that has been an inspiration for a lot of existing businesses. We vary our every 2-week meetings. We have one, by the way, this Thursday. Jeff Hull is going to do some things on work with people who are either retiring or aging or disabled in terms of ADA home modification and basically creation of jobs for people to do this kind of work.
Great.
We vary between what we describe as showcase businesses and training. Periodically, we will have trainings in management or those kind of things, which seems to be helpful to folks.
And what's really unique about this is it's completely free for people to come and take advantage of.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it takes place at USU Eastern, is that
USU
right?
Eastern in the Student Center in the Alumni Room.
Yes, starting at 8 a.m. They're always on Thursdays. And I love that you guys start at 8 so that you're done by 9 so that people can not interrupt their work day for these trainings.
This
that
is what we
nice.
tailor to. We work for businesses, so everything is centered around a businessman's schedule.
I love it.
I do too.
So
That's great.
tell us a bit about what the board does and what your position as the chairman involves.
That is a really good question. It's like trying to describe an elephant when you're blind. They call me the chief squirrel whisperer. The board is composed of about 8 folks. We have the county economic development directors. There are a couple of us who are private. Nick Tatton from Price City, of course, the SBDC. And it's trying to keep everybody focused and moving downstream towards a common goal. And the executive board oversees the management of the program, the trainings we provide, supervision of staff, which I do on a weekly basis, and the direction we want to follow. And our latest push is legislative funding.
Yes.
Bear has been funded through the state legislature, but over time the funding base has eroded and backed off, and we're now trying to get us back on an even footing with state funding. Our funding was cut in half a year ago.
Oh my, that's
So-
a big change to adjust to.
Yeah.
We've cut staff in half, and but we're managing and we're outreaching probably 20 to 25 businesses a week still.
Wow.
That's impressive.
That is impressive.
For our one staff person, that's remarkable. She will go down. She finished up Green River here a couple of weeks ago, and every business, either home-based or storefront, was interviewed. And she's worked Emery County, and now she's back around, and she's going to hit Price City again.
Well, I'm glad that you mentioned that, the home base versus storefront. So it's really just a one-person operation, clear to these huge corporations that you
It
guys
is.
are working with and trying to help, and everyone in between. It's
Yeah.
really quite an undertaking, but
And it's been fun. We have one business, and they were a showcase presentation last week. It's waste management or wastewater logistics with Jesse McCourt, who is just a remarkable story in and of himself. And when we became acquainted with him, he was operating out of his home. And I think our first Bear interview took place, from his
Yeah.
home-based business. Remarkably, my daughter was his accounts payable person at the time.
really.
And he has gone from a home-based business now to where he's a major player in the community. He's got somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 employees.
Wow.
Yeah, that's such a great story. I hope that you have lots and lots of those stories that you guys have.
There have been dozens
Been
of
in,
those stories
yeah.
over time,
I'd love
and
to
it's
hear
been
that.
fun.
Yeah.
So if people are looking to get some help from the BEAR program, they can obviously come to those trainings, to those meetings at 8 a.m. on those Thursdays. But how else do they get in touch with the employee? And how is there a cost for getting assistance?
There is absolutely no charge for BEAR assistance.
Wow.
Once they enter the system, typically they are entering the system through our outreach program. But there are times that people come directly to me, or like to Nick Tatton or Ryan Murray. But there's multiple points of contact, the economic development directors, me in person, our staff folks. So you can enter the system at any point.
And it seems like a really great board. It's really diverse between the economic developers and those who are business owners. So there's really help that can come from all directions and all different perspectives with this.
That is true. I've personally mentored, you know, I'm a businessman and I work for BEAR. I've mentored a couple of businesses and helped them along the way.
Well, that's great. You guys,
That
it
is
sounds
great.
like you have a fantastic program going. So don't forget this Thursday, they're going to have a meeting. It's at USU Eastern, and it's going to be at 8 a.m. Karl will be there. He is very prompt. You are going to start at 8 and you are going to be done in an hour. So you will be back to the work day and hopefully learn something great along the way.
I think they will. It's to everybody's benefit to come. It's free, and we work for the business community.
Great. Well, thank you so much for taking some time to tell us
Yes.
a bit more about BEAR, and thank you for what you're doing in the community.
Thank you so much. I appreciate what you guys do.
Yes, and good luck with your legislation. I think there's not a more worthy recipient in the community, so.
Well, we're very
that out.
impressed with Christine Watkins and
Yeah.
David Hinkins. They're
Yeah,
willing
we've
to
got-
carry the ball for us.
Good.
It hasn't made me popular with some folks on a state level, but who cares?
Yeah.
But like we were saying before we started filming, if you're not unpopular, you're not working hard
That's
enough.
right.
So
Exactly.
you gotta step on a couple of toes to get some stuff done sometimes.
To let
So-
people know you're out there.
Exactly.
right.
Well, thank you so much again for joining us, and
Yes.
thank you guys for joining Inside Eastern Utah. We will be back later this week with more that's happening in our area.